It is 2 o'clock p.m. New York time. I thought we had a pretty good day today as far as like price action. Price action was really clean. And unfortunately I didn't capitalize on the moment that I could have capitalized on, but I did have this situation come up where I found out one of my combines is actually going to be expiring tomorrow. Uh I ran it at $3,000.96 just to see if I could. And it just kind of like boosted my confidence, you know. I did it on my cell phone and I took all winning trades except for one loss. I was shorting this area right here. I saw this kind of like hit right here. I saw all this liquidity down here and I started aiming for that. And so that was kind of the situation. I was going for just one for ones and it was gambling. I mean, I was like really just looking for the opportunity to get into a trade by a green candle, and then I would short it from there and putting a lot of contracts on. But it just told me that like your read is good, bro. Like your read is good. Like you have good idea of where these markets are gonna go. Your biggest issue is just executing. So. I hopped onto the markets around right here, and you know what was interesting is today I actually hopped on and I looked at the minute chart, which is kind of where I base a lot of my trades off of is the minute chart. And I think I'm gonna start doing that more is start with the minute chart and kind of like look at what we have going on because something that I missed that happened was we had these equal lows, and if you look at it, we had equal lows right here at low of 28,557 and then 28,557 right there. Had I have seen that, I would have never taken a long here, and I would have waited for this situation right here. We got this big candle that basically just sold everything off, took out all this buy side liquidity. And so we have buy side, buy side, buy side, all this liquidity taken out. But we do have these resting relatively equal highs up here. So what I decided to do was long right here. I ended up going pretty much break even on that. I think I did like $70 on the day. But had I had known that there was those equal lows below, I probably would have entered in right here. And pre-market's a little bit slower. We're always leading into a move at pre-market. So we get the displacement down right here and right here with a candle. You know, like these are very strong bearish candles. We get that retest of the fair value gap, and then we just drop down. And so, we take out the sell side liquidity there, which made me like, I mean, I was bearish, and then we had all of this liquidity down here. If you look at the daily chart and the 15-minute chart, like we can get a good view of kind of like where our liquidity is at. So we had liquidity right here, here, here coming into the day. And I wasn't sure if we're going to hit it. We had already tried to hit it so many times and we kept on rejecting off of it. So I was a little bit unsure. And just being Friday, I was kind of like, unsure about that as well. But still, the model did present itself, and I can show you kind of how that happened. So we open up right here at 9:30, and we're starting to sell off. We've broken those equal lows that were right here, and we sell off from there. And so we had swept liquidity to the sell side, and then we come back up and we sweep liquidity to the buy side right there. No play right there. I mean, I guess you could have taken it on the inverse fair value gap, but that just wasn't my play. What I would have been aiming for if I did do that is like let's say I got this right here, we get this one red candle. So that's a pretty like bullish sign right there. Like we get an inverse fair value gap in 1 minute. We don't hesitate through it. We're just going right through it. And you would have taken your buy right there, aiming for halfway of the consequent encroachment of RTH, which is highly likely that we're going to hit. And then we have this buy side right here at 9:25 that occurred 5 minutes early. And that would have been a nice trade, if that was part of your model. That's personally, I don't know. I'm not I don't miss it. I'm not like I'm okay with it going by without, my it didn't really ring to me. That target didn't seem like, I guess like those little highs are kind of relatively equal, they're close, but anyways, we sweep that out right there and then we sell off and we get this candle right here. So I'd used this candle earlier and I saw this fair value gap and I was like, okay, we have an order block right above this fair value gap and I want to keep track of that. And so we go up, we touch it, we candle below it. That was like the first sign that I think, okay, sells are going to be in control. And I really want to get to the point where I'm starting to take like a micro in that point because my I still felt pretty confident in these relative equals right here. I felt very confident in those actually. And I knew that we were probably going to at least go down to there, right? So we get the sell model. So we have this swing low right here, or this order block that we just crush right through, right? So we crush right through that. We got this wick right here. We crush right through that. And then we get this fair value gap right here. We crush right through that. We get the first presented fair value gap. So that's the first presented fair value gap. First utilization is very bearish. We come up, we retest this fair value gap right here, but we candle below consequent encroachment of the first presented fair value gap, which was also bearish, and then we sell off. Um, so that's where I wish I would have sold. Now, there's other opportunities to sell in these markets, and typically once my model has like played out, I have a really hard time getting into another play because we had another one right here, and this is at the macro. We get that push up, and this is kind of like an implied fair value gap right here. You can imply that there's like a lack of buy orders in that area. It's kind of like buried, hidden underneath, but it does get used, and it gets used right here, and then we sell off for the rest of the morning session. And so once we had sold off, we had swept all the liquidity. We had taken pretty much everything, you know. And to me, that was a good sign that we were probably going to move up higher. And even on the 15 minute, you can see that big breaker that we created. So we got that low, high, lower, low. So we're stopping everybody out who was trying to go long there. And then we get these lows right here, and that's a very bullish, move right there. Like that was pretty bullish. And I remember I was sitting here and this is the thing is like really got to get more trusting of my read is like the big thing. And we always do this thing. We're accumulating right here. This is accumulation. I saw these lows right here, and I saw that took those lows, and then we started to get displacement up. I wanted to enter right here, and then we inverse this fair value gap, and that just kind of like made me uneasy. And again, this is just trusting like your it's trusting your targets, like like your concepts of like what you think is going to happen in the market. That's my biggest thing right now is just trusting like what I'm thinking is going to happen. Because if you watch my live, which they're long, so um, that was what I was expecting to happen was like we were going to sweep liquidity and then we're going to move up higher. That's exactly what happened. I think the midnight price would have been a good place to just decide to like sell it, not like or even these highs right here. I just kind of like was feeling very confident that we are gonna at least break this guy's right here, and we did. And that would have been a great play, like just there to there. This would have been my entry. 145 points. That's great. That's a wonderful play. After that, I got off because I was pissed off, and that's like one of my triggers is I get pissed. And then once I get pissed, I start getting emotional, and then I start making trades I shouldn't have made, and I don't want to do that. I really want to be a professional trader. I don't want to be like a gambler. That's not my goal. I want to be like somebody who can see these markets, and be able to tell you exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. And so, um, yeah, so and you can see at the times, like we have our times. Like I wish I had like an indicator that could show me times. Let's see if there's like a time indicator on here. Macro maybe. I'd have to look that up. Anyways, so like you can see, okay, so we have a 10 o'clock high right here. Or no, it's like a 9:49. This is the macro high. Like that's a high quality high, in my opinion. Like that's something that is likely to get hit. We have this 10:14, 10:10. Um, and then we have this fair value gap we sell off. We're struggling in this fair value gap right here. And then right here, we have the 11 o'clock hour right here. So this happens right at the macro. We get this displacement up, and then we get this retest of this fair value gap, and then we move. This is an 11 o'clock high. So on this retrace right here, we're probably gonna have there's a good chance that we're gonna break that. And so we come down, we sell off to 1109, and we hit this order block right here. And that would have been a good buy entry right there, and then just take it right up to this high right here. That was another good move that, I just got off at that point because I was starting to get kind of like annoyed. And then we break through that midnight price, we consolidate a little bit, we move up higher, we break these highs over here, and that's That's the 935 price, and then we pretty much almost touch the consequent encroachment of RTH. So we complete that objective pretty much. I'd say that's a pretty close enough for my book. I know, you know, as a purist of ICT's concepts, like that would be, you know, not enough. You probably want to see exact consequent encroachment, assuming that I have the exact RTH on here. And then we come up here, we start to sell off. We have left these relative equal highs above here. I imagine that on Sunday we're probably going to take those, depending. I don't know what we're going to do. Looking at the daily chart, depending on where we end right here, like, man, if we end in this area right now, it's 1400. So we have 2 hours. But if we end in this area, I'm gonna guess that we're gonna be going here next week. Probably get like a another buy model up here. Like we'll get some buys to this area, and then we'll get a sell down here is what I'm thinking. Um, and so this weekend I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of back testing. Something I want to be exploring a little bit more is like times of day. It just seems like time, time. ICT says this all the time, time and price. And that's just drilled in my head that the time and then the price are the two things that matter the most. Because you always notice like you get accumulation. So we get this 11 o'clock high, right? Um, we get the 11 o'clock high right here. And what do? We're kind of accumulating. I guess we get a little bit of a sell off, but really we're just retracing. Actually, we get the retrace. 11:10, we get the move up. And then on 11, I just want to kind of explore times a little bit more. How are we hitting the midnight price? How are we hitting the 8:30 price? What is that 8:30 price telling us? What is it doing for us? How are we responding at 11? How are we responding at 10? What's the move that's going on, I know the silver bullet is a move. I haven't really studied the silver bullet, and so I don't know too much about it, but yeah, and I say this time and time again, my read is good, man. Like, I know what these markets are gonna do, and I have a good idea of what these markets are gonna do. And like right now we're gonna break down to that sell side. But it's executing and like that's the biggest thing for me. And I really need to start executing a little bit more aggressively because every trade that I thought was gonna work out worked out. And it's kind of frustrating. So, I obviously it's not perfect. I took a long in this area. But had I seen these equal lows, I wouldn't have long that. I would have been more interested in shorts at that point. Um, and then we had these, like the targets always hit, and just watching your targets always hit is just kind of like, man. So I'll probably make a video this weekend, just kind of like doing some back testing on the time of day and what we're doing during those times of day. See if I can collect some good back testing data. Right now we have these highs right here. To me, it seems like we're just gathering liquidity to move up higher. I would want to see us, hit this order block right here or around this general area and see if we get a pull back up because that looks pretty clean. Otherwise, we might just sell off. Who knows? But yeah, it's looking pretty bearish on these markets. So hope you guys had a good day of trading. I'll see y'all later.